The History Channel.
Hello, and welcome to today's featured story. We will be looking into Japanese militarism and imperialism throughout modern history. The first signs of modernization in Japan were seen throughout the Meiji Restoration. It all began in the 1500s, when European traders showed interest in Japan. But the shogun in Japan saw this as a threat, after observing what problems it had caused in China, and quickly blocked off these foreign nations. It wouldn't be until 1853, when U.S. Commander Matthew Perry entered a Japanese port with 4 gunships, that Japan would start significant foreign trade. The shogun was hesitant to allow this. He decided it was necessary to end Japan's isolation, though, fearing that if he resisted, Japan would end in foreign control. In several years, Japan had established many trading agreements with Western powers in the U.S., which brought about much anger throughout Japan, leading to the overthrowing of the shogun in 1868. Power was restored to Mushuhito, the new emperor who decided that Japan must westernize in order to keep free of foreign control. A new era had begun in Japan that stressed industrialization and militarism. A popular slogan during this era was "Rich country, strong military." New changes also included a new parliamentary government, better education to teach the younger generation to be loyal and skilled citizens who could help modernize Japan, and a new tax system to save money in order to make all these changes. Now skip forward a few years after World War I. Although this was a tough time for many Western powers, Japan was prospering thanks to the war. Japan had sold supplies to Russian troops, expanding its economic base at home, which would allow Japan to expand its political influence over Eastern Asia. Some examples of land claimed by Japan after World War I included Korea and Taiwan, and soon Japan would have control in China. Would have some control in China, that is, after Japanese diplomats forced the Chinese government officials to sign the 21 demands that would make China a Japanese protectorate. Japan also became more involved in Western powers, and would make many commercial and military agreements with these powers following World War I. After a meeting in Washington, D.C. in 1922, Japan was given the right to the world's 3rd largest navy. Soon Japan became a worldwide power, and with a rapid population growth that would nearly double Japan from 1872 to 1925, Japan sought for an even more industrial society in which many new jobs would be available. Since Japan has saved a good amount of money, a heavy industry growth was possible, which allowed Japan to manufacture lots of new machinery and equipment that could be used in factories and mines. Not surprisingly, Japan's nationalism skyrocketed, especially due to traditional Japanese ways becoming popular once again. Quickly, the need for raw materials became a demand in Japan, since its small geographic size offered little materials. To acquire raw materials, Japan would have to use its large army and navy to get control of more foreign land. Japan's strive to acquire these lands can be seen in the following clips. Thank you for watching and have a great day.
There were 2 main reasons why Japan became an imperialistic nation. The first reason is that they needed natural resources and capital resources for industrialization. The second reason is that they thought they were not properly rewarded for their participation in World War I, which created many government rivalries.
Here's a map of the Japanese Empire in 1939, marked by the M as Manchuria, later renamed Manchukuo. This was annexed in 1931. The K represents Korea, which became part of the Japanese Empire in 1910.
One of the first places that Japan imperialized was Korea. Korea was officially listed as a protectorate of Japan in 1905. It was officially annexed as part of Japan in 1910 under the Annexation Treaty. In the end, Korea was part of Japan for 35 years, ending when Japan was defeated in World War II. The second place that Japan imperialized was Manchuria. On September 19, 1931, Japan began its invasion of Manchuria, which is a vast region in northeast China. After many pushes by the Japanese military and a final group of men sent by the leader to Manchuria, it put the Japanese army to around 60,000 men. When all of the members of the old Nanjing government of China resigned, Japan finally took over Qinchao, and the next day they occupied Shanhaiguan, completing their takeover of southern Manchuria in 1932. While Japan was invading Manchuria, the League of Nations voiced its opinion that they should not be invading China. This made Japan very mad that the League of Nations did not agree with their imperialistic ideals, so they decided to back out of the League of Nations, getting rid of it in 1933, leaving it with one less major power.